All right, took my gloves off, took my hat off, took my glasses off, took my rubber boots off. Whew. I like wearing the rubber boots out here because, you know, this working in the gardens and the yards would really make my tennis shoes just get wet and dirty, and then they'd start rotting off my feet. So anyway, letting them air out. Man, whew, I've been out there working on all that. It's looking better, isn't it? I got most of that tree taken away. All that stuff I had piled up composting. I'd say 99% of that's already been moved over to that compost pile. There's a compost pile. What I've done with my compost pile is I'm kind of layering it, kind of like a lasagna type compost, where I had taken a bunch of, like small things, grass clippings, stuff like that from the lawnmower, put it on there. And then I took big things, like a lot of the old dead sticks and bark and other odds and ends that had been sitting there for over a year, just deteriorating and falling apart. Not all of them were totally broken down into compost or anything, but I went ahead and I just collected all those and I layered them onto my compost pile. And then I come back, I take the rake, and I start raking up stuff. And that gray planter right there, I'd take that and I'd fill that up with stuff that I rake up out of there, put it on top of the bigger stuff that I put in my compost. And then I'd come back with bigger stuff, put on top of that, and I just, put a layer and a layer and a layer and a layer. I'll show you some close-ups of that in another video. I guess that will be a compost pile video. I'm not getting out of my chair right now because I'm tired. I'm hot and sweaty. I guess you can tell how dirty my pants are. But I've been out here pretty much all day. And back there, I've got 1, 2, 3, and then a smaller one here. All that's just limbs and things, and other sticks and things that I've collected that piled up back here. Most of that came from this tree that fell down. That's not the stump from the tree. The stump from the tree is actually behind the doghouse there, from where it fell down, because you can see the main trunk right there coming across, and it fell this way. And so those limbs almost touched that clothesline pole there that I got all my tools sitting at. And so I got all that kind of trimmed back and cut up. I'm still working on the big stuff here. I'm gonna have to move that. That's heavier stuff. Of course, that thing's heavy too. I gotta see if I can pull that back there. But the wood that's alive, none of that's going into my compost pile. Most of that's going back here. I've got some piled up behind the barrel, or behind the trailer, and this over here. But I'm going to be setting that aside, and I'm going to be using that for projects. But I've almost got it to a point to where I can start, loosening the soil and getting all the weeds and grass and stuff out by the roots. And working on my garden beds. Won't be long. Oh, this pole right here, that's a shovel stuck in the ground. And then I've got a PVC pipe over it that my trail cam attaches to. That makes it easy for me to move my trail cam around. I just stick the shovel down the ground wherever I want it to be. And see if it aims right. Yeah, my trail cam's been off for a few days. I turned it off and forgot to turn it back on. I didn't want me working out here to fill up my SD card full of images of me out here working. I wanted images of like deer and groundhog and possums and raccoons and bobcats and whatever else wanders through. Uh, so maybe I'll be able to get some of that, some of those pictures and show you some of that wanders through here. We do have a lot of deer around here, and I haven't seen any in my yard lately, but in the field over there, I guess you can see the field back there, I see them out there. And then over across the road that way, there's a big field over there, and I see them over there a lot. Just the other day I counted 30. There's somewhere like 32 of them over in there. So you know they're cutting through the yard. Anyway, it's been a nice day. Sun's shining. Got a few clouds here or there. Wind's blowing. Sitting in the shade over here is like sitting in air conditioning. It's wonderful. And my shirts are already drying out. When you work out there in the sunshine, you do sweat a lot. But I tell you what, it's one of the best workouts a person can get, is preparing a garden, working in the garden, doing it all by hand, raking and shoveling and picking things up and moving them. When you're doing that, you're working every muscle in your body. When you're pulling that rake, you're working totally different muscles than you are when you're picking and bending and, and lifting and stuff like that. You get a full body workout out here. And people always ask me how I stay so slim. I don't know. I don't diet. There are times when I come outside and work, without eating breakfast, and don't eat until maybe 1 or 2 in the afternoon. But I do drink a lot of water when I'm out here doing this. And I do take breaks. It's like me, a little while ago, I had gone inside and I noticed there was still some coffee in the coffee pot, but it had cooled off. So I made myself a nice cold cup of coffee and brought it out here and sat here and drank it. It was refreshing. And it gave me a little pickup, a little caffeine and sugar thing going on there. And I actually got out here and was able to do a little more working. And yeah, once I go in there and eat a meal, well, I did eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich about 2 hours ago. I forgot about that. But once I go in and eat a good solid meal, and let that settle for a little bit, then I'll be out here and I'll probably be able to finish up this job. I mean, in terms of cleaning up, not putting in the garden, but finish cleaning it up and get it to a point today to where tomorrow morning when I come out here will be garden bed preparations. So I'll be making a video on my garden bed preparations, and hopefully I'll be able to actually do real videos on putting in gardens instead of just sitting here and jibber jabbing about it. Man, those robins out there, those things, I think that's 2 male robins just kind of going at it right there, but they're fighting over a big juicy worm out there in that dirt. They love it when I go out there and turn over that dirt and I move things around. Oh, there's 3 robins out there now. Man, they love it. They get out there and they scratch around in it. They pull out worms and grubs and other little bugs. You can see them out there. They're just hunting for them. And yeah, whenever I go down there and work, they move on to elsewhere. And then whenever I'm not over there, then they go in and they do their part, scratching around and cleaning up. We work good as a team, me and the robins, working in the gardens. Whew. All right. You know what? I'm gonna turn this camera off. Well, it's my cell phone. Camera in my cell phone. I'm gonna turn this thing off and I'm gonna sit here and I'm just gonna let the wind blow over me. Talk to you later. Bye.